Before we begin today's Smile Drop, this episode is brought to you by Dear Sweet One Lullabies, a collection of astrology-inspired lullabies created to bring softness, comfort, and calm into quiet moments with the little ones you love most. Inspired by the stars and designed for peaceful bedtime routines, Dear Sweet One blends gentle music with warmth, imagination, and emotional connection. Whether you're rocking your newborn to sleep, creating a calming nighttime ritual, or simply slowing down at the end of the day, Dear Sweet One is there for the in-between moments that matter most. You can learn more at changehappenedpodcast.com and click on the Dear Sweet One banner. Hi, I'm Heather Holt, and this is a Smile Drop from Change Happened, Then What? These are short reflections that live in the space between our larger stories, little pauses where we sit with things that stay with us. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's something tender, and sometimes it's just one small thought that refuses to let go. No big interviews here, just a few moments shared heart to heart. And if you hear the occasional sigh, stretch, or collar jingle, that's just Waylon and Dalton supervising. Boys, be quiet. They're settled. I'm settled. Here we go. There are certain objects that somehow survive every version of us. Not because they're valuable, not because they match the decor, but because somewhere along the way, they became part of the emotional architecture of our lives. And I've been thinking about that lately, because at 50, I still have my childhood blanket. Not in a cute little, oh, look at this nostalgic keepsake kind of way. I mean, it's still with me. And honestly, if my house caught fire, there's a decent chance I'd grab the dogs, my husband, and then immediately panic about where the blanket is. Which feels both deeply emotional and slightly embarrassing to admit publicly into a microphone. But here we are. And the funny thing is, I don't even remember deciding it mattered this much. It just stayed. Through apartments, moves, marriages, kids, heartbreak, brain surgery, entire lifetimes of becoming different versions of myself. That blanket somehow kept surviving all of it. And if I'm being honest, it barely even resembles a blanket anymore. And I'm pretty sure it's hanging on by pure emotional significance at this point. The fabric is thin. The edges are gone. It looks like something a museum curator would gently unfold while wearing gloves. But the second I hold it, my nervous system still recognizes it before my brain does. And I know I'm not alone in this. Some people keep old sweatshirts, coffee mugs, a stuffed animal, a rock from somewheres they loved. You know that hoodie that still smells faintly like the person you miss? Or maybe you have one of those receipts folded up into a wallet for the last 20 years for absolutely no logical reason. Humans, well, we're strange like that. We assign safety to objects, especially during our hard seasons, and especially during our childhood. Sometimes, when life feels confusing or unsafe or even unpredictable, we quietly attach ourselves to something small and ordinary that says, hey, I'm still here. And I think that's part of why these objects stay with us long after we need them. Because maybe they were never really about the object. Maybe they were about what we survived. About comfort, consistency, having that one small thing that didn't change while everything else did. And I think that's why this oddly connects to Morgan's story this week. Not in the heaviness of it, but in the humanity of it. Because when people go through trauma, especially as children, they often find quiet ways to cope that don't even make sense until years later. A certain routine, an object, a song, or maybe even a certain seat in the house. Tiny little anchors, survival mechanisms disguised by ordinary habits. And sometimes those things, well, they follow us into adulthood. Not because we're broken or because we failed to move on, but because somewhere deep in the body, comfort leaves fingerprints. And it's kind of a funny thought, but the older I get, the more tender I feel towards these weird little human behaviors. When I was younger, I think I thought healing meant becoming untouchable. Perfectly evolved, self-aware, no weird attachments, and definitely no emotional support blankets, hanging on by 3 remaining threads, even though I never let it go. But now, I think maybe healing looks like understanding yourself with a little more softness, like laughing gently at the things that helped you survive, even if they make absolutely no sense to anyone else. Today, my blanket is currently on the shelf behind me while I record this. Dalton is fast asleep at my feet. Waylon is staring out the window like the neighborhood security team is depending on him. And the house is quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the sound of the rain tapping lightly against the porch. And honestly, the world feels hard enough sometimes. If an old blanket still makes my nervous system feel safe after all these years, I think I'm finally okay with that. Maybe we all deserve to keep one strange little comfort object forever, especially if it helped carry us through versions of our life we barely knew how to survive. And maybe that's not weakness at all, but just what being human looks like. And maybe finding a reason to smile isn't always about life becoming easier. Sometimes it's smaller than that. An old blanket, a quiet house, your pets sleeping nearby. Rain against the window. Something familiar that reminds your nervous system you made it through. And maybe the little things we carry with us are sometimes the very thing that keeps us smiling anyways. If this smile drop made your day 3% better, you're legally obligated, okay, not really, to visit changehappenpodcast.com. There you'll find more stories, bloggish brainwaves, and ways to support this joyful little circus I call a podcast. Leave a review, share it with a friend, or just whisper to your dog that you liked it. Honestly, I'll count that as a win. This episode was created, edited, and engineered by yours truly, Heather Holt, with minor supervision from my emotional support dogs, Waylon and Dalton. Until next time, keep it weird, keep it kind, and keep smiling.
In the morning light I greet the day with a heart full of hope, come what may. Through the highs and lows I'll find my way. In the rhythm of life I'll dance and sway. With every step I'll rise and shine. In this beautiful journey I'll make life mine.